Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your OBC, your original Boruto Chief, Naruto Explained, bringing you guys the official spoiler for the upcoming Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter 35. This month's official spoiler is definitely going to get you wet in the mouth for more, coming off the heels of Boruto and Sarada getting that controversial joint cover for this month's V-Jump magazine issue. That cover is posted over on the community tab of the channel for those who have not seen it. For the TikTok brain, the too long didn't watch is that Sarada's eyesight has been fixed in just enough time for her to see a mysterious marker pop up in front of her, and the arrival of an unknown presence is pending. Now for the housekeeping before we further unpack what we have. This month's chapter is going to be dropping a little bit sooner, dropping on the 18th this month instead of the 20th like normal. So that means that we're on full spoiler watch, and as per usual, when the full spoilers drop, I will cover them here on the channel. Most importantly, do not forget to read the chapter officially on the free websites and apps like Manga Plus, which are directly run by Shueisha. Manga Plus is the best place to support the series since the editors from Shueisha directly track the data there. And to clarify, because I've gotten questions on this, think of the hottest list that you see on Manga Plus as being similar to how Weekly Shonen Jump uses its table of contents to reflect the popularity of a series. The further back a series is, means that it's gotten less than favorable feedback in the magazine polls from people that purchased the issue. So the higher up on Manga Plus something is, the better it's going to be received by the editors. Depending on when we get the full leaks, the review will be out on the 18th, but it may be a day or two late. It just comes down to when we get the full scans and if there are any major differences between the official and the fan translation. Lastly, don't forget to check out the new video on my Everything One Piece Explained channel, which is in the description box and end credits, as well as the video that does an in-depth look at the first ninja war on Naruto with some information that even long-term viewers is going to be new to you. So, looking at the sneak peek itself that Shueisha released as a part of that official spoiler, Sarada appears to be leaving a building that we can assume is the hospital, though we can't be 100% certain since the angles chosen for this panel in particular are intentionally cutting off what we can actually see. So, chances are this isn't the first page in the chapter, but more likely than not, it's going to be one of the first pages in the first act of the chapter. She's got her standard ninja gear back on and she's adjusting her glasses, saying that for the time being, her vision is back where it should be. Now, this is kind of interesting because she said for now, because it does show some awareness from Sarada about her situation. In the last chapter, she wasn't able to see clearly out that damaged eye, and she knows the risk of the Mangekyo Sharingan now, but it does make you ask the question of how much have the new prescription on those glasses helped out, because what exactly defines all right here? Say she's at 70% field of vision. The moment the combat starts, that figurative invisible health bar on those glasses is going to start going down the second that she cuts on Mangekyo Sharingan, because the moment that you cut Mangekyo on, not even using the special jutsu, just cutting Mangekyo on, it begins to eat away at your eyesight. So it does make you wonder how badly the vision will be when she does use the Mangekyo. Hopefully we get a little bit more information on the glasses in this chapter. However, the irony is that Sarada went from being blind as a bat to now being able to see just in time when a kunai suddenly slices through the air and strikes the ground out of nowhere, moving fast enough that Sarada herself has the sound effect for characters when they're surprised by what it is that they're seeing. What's also interesting here is that the kunai was clearly thrown, given the additional sound effect of that thump, and it makes you start asking the question of who is watching Sarada and for how long. It's upon closer inspection that Sarada goes from wondering if there's an enemy to taking a closer look at what it is she's seeing, and she notices the spiral pattern that is decorated onto the kunai, and it doesn't appear to be a temporary chakra inscription either, because there isn't a glowing sound effect or any visual resonance with chakra here, and that's interesting. Just as Sarada begins to wrap her head around what it is that she's seeing, she's drawn with her eyes widening with recognition, and then Ikimoto uses a panel from behind where you see Sarada at an angle and you have the whoosh sound effect. But with how the panel's drawn, it looks as if somebody has appeared directly behind her in her blind spot. Now, the knee-jerk reaction is to say that it's Boruto, and my initial thoughts were that it was Boruto because that was a clear anticipation panel. So the next one should be the impact shot of where you see the reveal, because that's typically what you get with gateway battle shonen, which Boruto technically is. The best option is usually the most simple one. While it is fun to speculate on things or suggest other stuff, most writers, particularly battle shonen writers, they take the KISS approach. Keep it simple, stupid, which my gut thinks is definitely the case here. So why do I have reservations on my end though? We do know that Boruto uses a variety of objects for his flying Raijin jutsu, and even though we haven't seen him personally use kunai for flying Raijin at any point in the series, even though during his flashback training where he learned the jutsu, we are outright told that future Boruto, and we see a shot of future Boruto, was able to do so after 6 years of training. So when Boruto was 19 years old, sticking to the timeline of that flashback, we know that Boruto can use kunai. So the smart money is on Boruto, because it makes the most sense, again, due to the kunai factor. But it does beg a bigger question. Why did Boruto return to the village? Why did he just fly in the air like that? Was he eating a Thunder Burger, waiting for time to pass until Sarada leaves the hospital? Why did he have to teleport to her, and from the looks of it, into her blind spot? It's enough to just drop the kunai there with a note. I think what that part really comes down to is that the kunai itself and what we are told back in chapter 16 of Two Blue Vortex. What do you notice about the kunai? It has the swirl marker of the Uzumaki clan. Koji specifically said that Boruto will mold chakra to place inside of all forms of metal, including kunai. But after he said Boruto's teleportation was most accurate when the items were in his direct visual line of sight, he told Boruto how future 19-year-old Boruto found a workaround to his long-distance teleportation. Boruto decided to use symbols with distinct shapes to make it easier to teleport to, because he would be able to better visualize it when teleporting from a distance. That kunai has a special pattern to it. It's likely mixed in with Boruto's chakra. So when teleporting to the kunai, he just likely think about the kunai that has the Uzumaki swirl on it. That also makes sense given we know that he has 6 unique markers already. The leaf logo, the triangle, the square, the sunflower, and 2 other shapes that I can't recall off the top of my head. And the 7th is that sword that he can teleport to. The only thing I can really think of is Boruto giving Sarada that kunai so she can have it in case he ever needs to teleport to her. And given she's being hunted down by both Code and Hidari, this is the easiest way for him to reach her because it's a special kunai that he has not used in the series so far. Though this does make you realize how much further Boruto needs to go with refining his flying Raijin. That's why in a video a couple weeks back, I suggested he really needs to make modifications to this jutsu. While his version is different than Minato and Tobirama's, it is commendable that he was able to find all these workarounds to his weakness. The lack of using sealing formulas that can be placed on a people becomes a bit of a problem. Though the extra information we got on Boruto's flying Raijin and how it's different than Minato's, it does explain why he didn't take that route. So it does make sense from that standpoint. It is also a bit extra if he's just teleporting into the blind spot. Like, there's really no reason to do that unless this is Boruto taking the opportunity to explain his jutsu to Sarada for the first time since he's never sat down and told her how the mechanics of it work, or him telling her about Code targeting her, or we have information that Hidari is making his move on Sarada, which given Koji said that the timeline has changed and that they're on a new path, we can't really discount that possibility at all, or that Boruto might be just calling an audible here and once again doing something that Kashin Koji is unaware of because Boruto's calling his own shot. The question I do have though is, are they standing there in the middle of the village to talk, or does Boruto teleport behind her, tell her pick up that kunai, and then teleport them somewhere else that he has a marker to talk? Because you have to keep in mind the political nature of this whole situation. Sometimes I think the dramatic irony works a little too well with the fandom, because we know Boruto is innocent and has helped Konoha multiple times in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex so far, but the random villager sitting on the bench across the street that's reading Makeout Tactics doesn't know that at all. The ninja of the village still have a kill on sight order for Boruto. They're to catch Boruto, immobilize Boruto, and then ultimately kill Boruto. Then you have the whole Hokage versus feudal lord situation. So there's a lot to consider here. I've seen people question whether or not this is code putting a trap together for Sarada, or if it was Kashin Koji. Now, personally, I don't think it's code, because I think that would be out of character for him. If it was a claw mark, sure, but this, I doubt it. I also don't think that Kashin Koji is leaving that hideout anytime soon, and while I do suppose a toad could throw that kunai and Boruto could teleport to it, I'm not super sure here, but it does make a lot of sense if it's a toad. I'm not going to crash out when it comes time to make the chapter review, because headcanon that I have didn't happen. I think that's immature to do that. Again, we're on spoiler watch since the chapter drops on the 18th this month. So in 6 days from when you're watching this video on the 12th. So spoilers will be coming any day now. The review will be out on the day of the official release, barring any setbacks, and it is a review. We do not do read-alongs, story time, play-by-play recap, and mix in headcanon, and then lie to you calling that a review. That's not a review. That's more of an insult to anyone who's actually read the chapter, and it's enabling people too lazy to actually read the chapter on the official website. Yes, we go over story beats, but a review evaluates the strengths, weaknesses, provides context that the casual reader or viewer might have missed, that might elevate the material that they consume for the chapter, looks at author intention, and offers a overall opinion on the content. In the meantime, click here for the first Ninja War full story video, or click here for the new video on my Everything One Piece Explained channel.